Hey guys, what's going on? Watermelon back here again, and today's topic is kind of the topic that a lot of people have been talking about, namely Ruxin and Team APS and others. I was planning to do this topic after seeing APS's original video on their second channel, but then Ruxin made a larger video and he kind of laid out what's going on and provided some more, I think, simple solutions, but I wanted to delve more into what Konami can actually do. So first off, I'm going to start by showing off, my usual mail day, what I've bought this month. And so two of the products that I have, these sealed things, I bought Duelist Nexus and Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano. These relate to today's topic. And to summarize briefly what I'm talking about, basically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Products have no value. This cost me, the combined value of these two things, what I paid was $75, including shipping, taxes, everything. This is like a $50 box nominally. Now I got a good deal, and this is like a $30 box. So I did get a little bit of a deal, but still, there is no value behind these things. Local game stores are losing a lot of money on these products. I'm going to open this one up today. This one I'm going to keep sealed, not because I'm, super stonking on this. It's just there's not really any value in this. And it actually came in pretty good condition, and I like the art. So I'll put this one off to the side. Other than that, I also picked up some other really cool stuff. So I've never been into sort of memorabilia, but these gold and silver coins of Mobius the Frost Monarch, which is, this and Chaos Emperor Dragon are my two favorite monsters. So to see that they actually made coins of Mobius, like, I never realized that Mobius was that popular. They've given Mobius the Mega Monarch a ghost rare, and now they have these YCS collectible coins. I can actually take the covers off of these so you guys can really see them. But, I've been eating good as a Mobius the Frost Monarch fan. Probably the biggest Mobius the Frost Monarch fan in the world, but I have been eating quite well. So here we go. So here's the coin. Looks really, really nice. I don't know what the actual metal is that this is made out of. I would assume it's a little heavy to be aluminum. I would assume it's, brass or stainless steel, something like that that's painted. But it looks quite cool. It's got Konami's logo and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Logo on the back. But this is an awesome pickup, and I'm hoping that they make Chaos Emperor Dragon as well, because I will definitely be picking that one up if they do. And then on this one, got the gold Mobius coin. So cool looking. I mean, I definitely paid more than I should have. I didn't realize that they were still releasing these things. If I did, I wouldn't have picked them up quite yet, but it is what it is. I haven't seen many of these things on eBay, the gold ones that is, because they're a little bit more rare, but very, very cool. And they have a ton of other monsters, so there's probably one that you like more than Mobius. I just happen to be, the number one Mobius fan, so I had to pick these up. And as I said, I normally don't collect stuff like that. And then I also picked up Magicians of Bonds and Unity. And this is, the chase card out of this set. So if we pull this, I wouldn't be, unhappy because it's the most expensive card. But I got a really nice deal on this. It cost me $130 after taxes, fees, and shipping for a pack fresh version. Now, it's not well centered, so I'm not going to grade it or anything. But, this is a very, very good price for this card at the current moment. Down the road, this might not be that great a price, but I really think that this is an interesting chase card. We'll see what they do with the different colorations, but obviously this is the first printing of the card. So I decided to pick it up at such a great price. I'm very happy about it. Let me know if you've ever picked something like this up. But we'll get into the opening. It's not really about the opening, but I'll talk about, today's commentary topic while I do it. So the first thing to mention is, that wasn't addressed, I think, in the original stuff, or the Ruxin video, etc., was that right now there's a transition to online retail, right, where people are buying things online more so than they are in person. And because they're buying things online, the price floor for products is often set by the people that are selling the most, because it's a pretty competitive market, and the people who are selling the most are able to buy from distributors at the lowest price. Additionally, the fees that they have to pay to marketplaces online are the lowest because they can negotiate specific fees. They're not paying what someone like you or I is paying. They're not paying the 12.5% or whatever. They're paying, I honestly don't know, probably, closer to 5% or something like that. So the Pro Football Peaks, the Sassy Autos, they're not paying much. And so they get them at the lowest per unit price, and then they sell them at much lower fees. And so they can sell them for much less than everyone else can. And because of that, it's hard for a smaller card shop to compete with that sort of price floor. It's extremely low. But I don't want to talk too much about that. There's this transition to online retail, which obviously hurts the prices of things. And moreover, there's, I think, a general sentiment that people don't want to buy sealed, they want to buy singles. And this is something that it's kind of hard to address that specific difficulty. New World Armaturata. Or Amritara, I don't know. But, that specific thing is something that it's in every community, but I think that specifically Yu-Gi-Oh is the one where it's most widespread. I could be wrong about that, but it's very widespread. And so it just becomes very difficult for local game stores to sell their product because they have to charge more for it than you can get online. And it's very convenient to just put something in the cart and not have to worry about, going to the shop, etc. Additionally, they don't have to, worry about all that, and they're paying more if they buy it in shop. So they just want to buy singles, but nowadays I don't think there's a lot of money in sort of breaking up sealed into singles unless you're getting in at very, very low prices like Tier 0 or Gamer's Choice. And obviously if you're not getting in at those low per unit costs, it's hard to compete in the singles market either. And so it's just very difficult for those specific local card shops to compete with the much larger ones. So that's, two problems that are sort of out of Konami's control beyond selling things or giving things like OTS prizes for free to the card shops, which they have done. The main thing that they can do, and the main concern, is that there's no value in sets like, for example, Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano, right? You get 3 ultra rares in most boxes, a couple of super rares, and then there's nothing else. 1 in 12 boxes has the ghost rare, but even that isn't very expensive. They picked an interesting card that I don't think a lot of collectors are looking for, and it's kind of niche for players as well. And so it really begs the question, well, besides diehard fans of that specific Salamander archetype, it's not the most playable archetype. And so who's buying that thing? Who's chasing after these, who's cracking open tons of boxes for that specific Link monster? No one. There are very, very few people. And so how can you sell it when no one's chasing after the main thing and you get 3 ultra rares, which nowadays, an ultra rare, we got Demigod of the Tistina. I don't think that's particularly good. But, you get 3 ultra rares, and in core sets, you're getting multiple ultra rares in a box, and in side sets, ultra rares are the lowest rarity, right? In Battles of Legend, you're getting 4 ultra rares per pack, or 4 ultra rares per pack. And so if you're getting 3 ultra rares per box versus a side set where you're getting 3 or 5, I can't get my numbers right, 4 per pack, why would you buy a box of that stuff? Eventually those cards are just going to get higher rarities, and your purchase is going to be effectively worthless. And so that's difficult. And that is one of the core problems with modern product, in my opinion, is that Konami doesn't protect people who are willing to spend or chase after cards from future reprints. I.e., just look at something like Astral Utopia. Utopia. They print it in this astral rarity that's supposed to be super special, hasn't ever received a high rarity before, and so, it does extremely well in Battles of Legend Armageddon. And then what do? They print it in an OTS pack with an ultimate rare, they print it in King's Court with a collector rare. Eventually, there's just nothing left. People don't really care anymore. If you spent your money on the collector rare, I think that got printed before the ultimate, and then, a couple days later, a collector or an ultimate rare comes out and it takes all the value from the collector rare. Are you going to be chasing after a card in the future when they reprint the exact same card in a high rarity or a competing rarity within a couple months or a couple of years? I don't think you are. And you know, I've received pushback on this in the past, but in my opinion, I just don't think that there's a whole lot of interest in chasing after stuff when inevitably you're just going to have your whatever modern printing of the card reprinted in a higher rarity or a competing rarity. Look at something like Zeus. It got a Starlight rare, and then it got printed as an Ultimate rare in an OTS pack, and then it got reprinted now as a quarter century secret rare, which is, for all intents and purposes, is there really that much difference between this and a Starlight rare? No. And anyone who says otherwise is coping pretty hard. Okay, they look almost identical. Now, there's always this question of, you know, first printing should hold the most value. I'm not disputing that, but, oh, there we go. That's our first secret, Crystal God Tistina. But, you know, realistically, we got to be honest here. They look almost identical. And so when you get a Starlight rare that's just reprinted as a quarter century secret, how can you in good faith keep spending your money knowing that it's just going to get another high rarity printing? Look again, something like Ghost from the Past 2. They loaded that set too much. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Now the Ghost Rare doesn't feel like a premium rarity. And so if you bought Cyber Dragon, for example, that's getting a quarter century secret rare. How can you keep buying these modern cards, buying them, chasing after them, trying to pull them, which costs a lot of money if you try to pull them, for sure, because they're not easy to pull. How can you keep chasing if it just inevitably is going to get reprinted? And so if you have a set like this where it prints a bunch of cards like Dark Arm Dragon that are really cool ghost rares and not a bad pick, and then you just reprint them as a quarter century secret rare, what's the point of chasing after the ghost rare? And I think a lot of modern collectors have lost interest because in sealed product, because if you chase after that specific thing, you're gonna have to chase after the same card in a different rarity. There's no alternate art version in a couple of months, and that, I think, is something that is hard for a lot of collectors to get behind, and it costs a lot of money. So a lot of people are sort of giving up on trying to crack sealed. And so, you know, there are a couple of solutions that have been proposed. One of the big ones is just switching to the OCG rarity system. And so in the OCG rarity system, you have, you know, you can imagine, let's say, this card right here, which we've already kind of switched a bit to, because I believe this has a quarter century secret rare. So this would have an ultra rare, a secret rare, a super rare, and a quarter century secret rare. And so you'd have, you know, if you're a budget player and you can't afford something more expensive, you can still get the card for your deck. But if you want to bling it out, you can also do that with a more difficult to get rarity. I don't know that this actually solves the underlying problem. I think it solves other problems, like getting people into the card game, because right now a lot of people say that it's too expensive to get into the card game because each modern meta deck costs, you know, hundreds of dollars to build. And so I'm absolutely behind it in terms of solving that problem. But I don't think that it actually solves the underlying problem that there's no value in these sets. Yes, people are going to be more willing to open up sets if they think that there's some amount of value. There's some cards that they have a high percentage chance of getting, but at that point, the singles market is just flooded with every specific card, and so nothing holds a lot of value. And so, you know, these stores or buyers are going to be able to just buy things that they want for next to nothing, and just circumvent the stores anyways. They'll just, you know, buy from the online retailer who's selling it for the least. And if every box produces, you know, 3 of this specific card, how many people actually want, you know, the super, super high rarities? Not that many. And so, you know, you need fewer boxes to meet the supply or meet the demand for that specific card. And because of that, you know, people are just going to be opening less because each box basically holds enough of each card. You know, if you can get a playset of most cards, or, you know, you can get a card, you don't need to open as much in order to get the cards that you want. And so while it might make cards cheaper, if cards are cheaper, the value goes down in the box, right? And so I'm not convinced that that necessarily solves the problem. I think to solve the problem, you need to, one, make sure that collectors' cards, and I don't mean collectors like me who primarily are buying vintage stuff, I mean collectors who play the game, who probably make up the majority of the people collecting modern product, or just modern collectors, don't feel like if they don't buy the original vintage versions of the card, the price is just going to plummet. All the rarity behind the card is going to plummet. Because that's what I think a lot of people feel like right now, is that, at this stage of the game, there's nothing protecting you from, if you spend your money, you try to chase after a Starlight, or you save up for a Starlight, you buy it, it might get a quarter century secret rare in the next set. And I think it's difficult. Oh no, never mind. I thought we got a quarter century secret rare. X-Pearly Noir. It's pretty interesting. I don't know I think that one might actually be pretty decent. I think we're just chasing after Revolution Synchron if we don't get a quarter century secret. But, all this comes back to, you gotta make sure that you're not just printing the same cards over and over again. You have to protect people who buy specific cards and chase after specific cards. And then additionally, I think Ruxin's point about, you need to just print less is valid. I think that there are too many sets. And, it's hard to keep up as a collector. I used to try to keep up with every specific thing, but there's just so much going on, This set, I believe, Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano, is not even in the, this specific set is not listed on TCG Player when you just hover over Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet. It's too much for even TCG Player to keep up with. Now, you can find the cards in that set on TCG Player, but, they forgot to essentially add it to the list of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sets. And so, there's just too much. It's going too fast. There's the, that set released, and, new Magician of Faith. That's pretty cool. That set releases, and then you've got the Speed Duel set, which has a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, that looks like a banger for sure. It's got the Arcana Dark Magician, which I'll probably pick up. It's got Dark Magician Girl and Secret Rare. It looks really, really nice. But, there's too much coming out. So I agree with that sentiment that, there's Thestalos the Shadowfire Monarch. This got a Prismatic Secret, or the OCG is equivalent of a Starlight, and I'm going to buy that. It's very, very cheap in Japan, so I will just pick a very shiny version of that card up. I think it's cool that they're going back to more Monarchs. Maybe Mobius is going to get another retrain. Maybe that's why they're putting out these coins, Not to get on my conspiracy theory stuff, but I wouldn't mind. Let's put it that way. I think we still have a secret rare in here. And we haven't hit a quarter century secret, which would be nice to hit one, but I'm not holding my breath. I think it's one out of every 3 boxes or so. There's Sleipnir, the Runic Mane. I don't think that's good, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But right now, this box is looking like a bit of a dud. I could be completely wrong. Maybe this is a banger, but I don't think it is. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I just think that they got to avoid sets where they just print too many bangers at once, because and then they print that set into the ground, because, you just completely destroy the market, the secondary market for the cards, and now no one cares about the new high rarity stuff you print. Everyone's been telling me that, you don't care about the Ghost from the Past 2 stuff, but these things, the cards from that set, are direct substitutes for the other collectible cards people could be buying. And if those are super, super cheap, are people really going to spend that much on a collector rare? And I forgot to mention, there's the rarity collection coming out. Are you going to spend money on a collector rare from a box that costs, tons of money, when there's a guaranteed collector rare in every box from the rarity collection? I think that's how it's supposed to be. Who knows? And so it's hard for someone to put money into something and open packs from a side set when all the values in the collector rares that are inevitably going to be printed in the ground. They printed Ghost rares into the ground. Now it's not a premium rarity anymore in Ghost from the Past and Ghost from the Past 2 specifically. And then collector rares now with rarity collection, those are going to be printed into the ground. And while this might be a banger set, you have to think about the long-term consequences of completely removing that rarity from its premium status. And they've done it now to Starlight rares with quarter century secret rares. I don't know if they think that all of this is going to end quite soon and they're just trying to make a last-minute cash-in. Noble Arms Museum. I don't think that's good. but it's not, I don't know. I'm not super enthusiastic about the state of just printing every high rarity, every premium rarity into the ground. It's great for collectors like me because I can buy cards like this that during, the COVID peak would have cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It would have been a $400 card probably. But, at this stage of the game, I just won't buy it if I can't afford it. But local game stores are now the ones suffering because, Konami is printing some suspect stuff. So, didn't pull anything, I think, out of this set. Duelist Nexus, I mean, I can flash through the hollows, but I think most of you guys are like me and probably are not too enthusiastic about anything out of the set besides quarter century secret rares. Got this secret rare. This is a cool card, although, I'll just buy the OCG version that's more shiny than that. This one might be pretty decent. It's probably a couple bucks. I don't think either of the secret rares were that good. But it's been 21 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys. A little bit different of a video because I opened up a box, which I haven't done in a long time. But it's been your boy, Watermelon. Let me know what you think, and peace out.